on UBC. Brought to you by
Dial star 185 star 85 hash to open an SCD account and apply for Airtel shares.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
A very good evening once again. Thank you for joining us for the 10 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. With me, Wadulo Mark Arnold and Mugalu Muhammad on sign language. And without further ado, let's take a look at tonight's top stories. In our headlines tonight, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni meets with Algerian investors at Nakasero State House. The First Lady Janet Museveni welcomes new UNICEF Regional Director to East and Southern Africa. Nebi Diocese requires $3.8 billion to animate Uganda Matters Day celebrations. Saka Bridge reconstruction progress at 85%. Once again, thank you for joining us. We now give you the news in detail. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and Algerian investors that Uganda is ready to cooperate. He told Algerian investors that Uganda is ready to cooperate with them in boosting trade and investment between the two countries that have had a long-standing relationship since the 1960s. The President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was meeting with a delegation from Algeria headed by their Minister of Trade and Export Promotion, Tayeb Zaitouni, at Nakasero State Lodge. A high-powered Algerian delegation, which included investors in energy, agriculture, processing, medicine and pharmaceuticals, paper recycling and packaging, and irrigation solutions, among others, also discussed solutions to potential challenges that would affect trade relations of the two countries. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni noted that the complementarity between East Africa and North Africa and Middle East is something they noticed from the very beginning since the 1960s through their leaders at that time, like Julius Nyerere of Tanzania. He added that Uganda and East Africa have everything needed to trade with others, especially fresh agricultural products. The Minister of Trade and Export Promotion of Algeria, Tayeb Zaitouni, informed President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni that Algeria imports milk from other countries worth $700 million US, and their hope was to channel that money to Uganda because of its quality fresh milk. The Ugandan Minister for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Honorable Francis Mwebesa, revealed that his ministry has taken note that some companies are ready to export to Algeria. These include Brookside, Amos Dairies and Pearl Dairies. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni told the meeting that Africa has been empowering others all this time, and it's high time this stopped if Africa is to become prosperous. On the side of medicine, and the president told Algerians that Uganda has bushes that have a lot of medicine, which our ancestors have been using for quite a long time in a traditional way, and Ugandan scientists have of late made exciting discoveries, including Covidex, well known for curing the coronavirus. The meeting followed President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's directive with his counterpart, His Excellency Abdelmajid Tebboune, President of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria, in March 2023 that a delegation of Algerian business persons come to Uganda for a mission to explore business and investment opportunities. In more news, the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has welcomed UNICEF's new Regional Director for East and Southern Africa, Ms. Etleva Kadili, who is on a mission to Uganda to familiarize with the UNICEF-supported programs in the country.
The First Lady hosted the UNICEF Regional Director, who was accompanied by the UNICEF country representative to Uganda, Dr. Munil Safeldin, and other officials from the UNICEF Uganda office at State House Nakasero. She lauded the great work relationship between Uganda and UNICEF over the years and especially appreciated UNICEF for the many programs that it has supported in the education sector.
I thank you so much for what we have done so far and what we are yet to do. And please know we value what we do with UNICEF. So today really was to thank you so much and tell you that we welcome you, and we in Uganda feel very grateful to God that He's bringing you at this time to the UNICEF group so that you can enrich what we do and empower our work with the methods that are used in your home country that I believe are really good for children especially. We could learn so much from that also.
Regarding the national campaign to address the challenge of teenage pregnancy dubbed the Protect the Girl, Save the Nation, Mrs. Museveni, who is also the national champion for adolescent girls, said that the campaign, which was supposed to be funded by UNICEF, could do better if UNICEF can still fulfill that pledge, and it would cover both adolescents in school and out of school. About the Global Partnership for Education program, which was put on halt as a result of the Uganda's Anti-Homosexuality Act, the First Lady said that it is unfortunate for the World Bank to hold the program that had undergone a lot of preparation and was ready to be launched.
And so I didn't know why it would now block this program that we have worked on and prepared and was ready to launch. And then now we are there without knowing directly from them what it is that stopped the project at all. But we are here and waiting, and we'll see. Hopefully they will realize that really it is for the good of us all that this project should go on, and we should continue to work together and overcome the problems of the human family globally in cooperation and supporting each other, instead of trying to, make it difficult for us to do what we should be doing. But we will wait and see anyway.
The new UNICEF Regional Director, Etleva Kadili, thanked the First Lady and Minister of Education for her leadership and vision for the children in Uganda and for pushing the agenda on education and overall protection of children and girls. She appreciated the universal education that has enabled the numbers of children attending school in primary education to be at 93%, plus Government of Uganda's commitment to accelerate closing the gap and supporting the children who lost learning during the COVID-19 scourge.
Very privileged to have the opportunity to work even closer with your country and for the children of the country. I'm very pleased to say that I started my journey as the new region director to start traveling into countries with the first travel to Uganda. Very pleased to have had the opportunity to meet really wonderful people and children and to see the passion and how our teams are working hand to hand with your government and everyone else.
UNICEF's country representative Dr. Munil thanked Mrs. Museveni for being a champion for the adolescent girl and for effectively leading the campaign to combat the challenge of teenage pregnancies. He reported that UNICEF has so far injected $4.4 million through the different government ministries, departments, and agencies at both the central and the district level since the beginning of the campaign. These programmatic interventions will continue till the end of the current UNICEF program cycle in 2025. Reporting for UBC, Baguma William.
And in more news, Uganda People's Defense Forces launched a lightning attack against the ADF hideout 19 months ago under the command of General Kayanja Muhanga, the then Commander Mountain Division. The Allied Democratic Forces, known for their bloody attacks on innocent communities, had strong bases in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, including Mukakati. We bring you the story of Mukakati, Kamango, and Semrik in Beni territory that used to be a killing zone for the ADF rebels.
After years of insurgents in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda People's Defense Forces UPDF made a return to the war-torn Eastern DRC. The first UPDF contingent entered Eastern DRC through Busoga, Nobiru border, Kamango, Mukakati, was under the command of Major General Kayanja Muhanga that conducted both aerial and ground force offensive on ADF camps on 30th November 2021. This is the story of UPDF war against the ADF rebels in Eastern DRC. Major General Kayanja Muhanga in 2022 was promoted to the rank of Lieutenant General and appointed Land Force Commander, was replaced with Major General Diko Loom as Operation Suja UPDF Contingent Commander. Her command he has maintained up to date. Under his command, Major General Diko Loom has dismantled several ADF rebel networks and their major training wings and camps in Eastern DRC. Under their new approach to a guerrilla war tactics that the ADF rebels are resorting to, UPDF is targeting the smaller splinter groups of ADF rebels who are now in disarray, figuring out their routes to their Ugandan homes. However, the question that remains a puzzle to many is whether Major General Diko Loom and UPDF troops will stabilize Eastern DRC after many years of insurgents.
Defeat the terrorists here. Once they have space for recruitment, then they rejuvenate. And this is what happened with ADF. The third factor is space. The fact that Eastern DRC was available for them within a governed area, that gave them space to rebuild.
In the land of different armed groups, violence and illegal guns has been the order of the day for many years in Eastern DRC. After years of insurgencies, ADF top commanders married Congolese women, and this led ADF to expand more.
Person I succeeded, and that is none other than Lieutenant General Kayanja, who is now the commander of the UPDF Land Forces, undertook onto these operations jointly with the FRDC, and since then the UPDF has achieved a lot. We have destroyed a lot of the ADF capacity to make war, ADF capacity to destroy, and ADF capacity to abduct.
Major General Diko Loom is charged with the responsibility of putting to an end the ADF rebel violence in Eastern DRC, a mission is determined to execute at whatever cost. The presence of UPDF troops in Congo is hinged on an MOU signed between President Felix Tshisekedi Tshilombo and President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, aimed at flushing out the ADF rebel group from their safe haven. Major General Diko Lum's terms of reference is to protect civilians and disarm the ADF rebels once and for all. General Lum is not underestimating the task ahead of him.
We tend to warn our soldiers to always guide against that, to keep it in their mind, in the back of their minds, that UPDF is there for the people. Whether in the DRC or in Uganda, we are there for the people. And that's what we tend to ensure our soldiers don't forget about.
Day and night, UPDF and FADAKA forces are on the lookout for the enemy. UPDF operate jointly with Congolese army known as FARDC. General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, deployed the deadly, well-equipped mountain division troops. The troops is well versed in urban wartailism, street fight, mountain fighting, and guerrilla warfare. To the UPDF contingent under the command of Major General Olum, Eastern Congo that has been engulfed in armed violence for over 20 years, with Congolese civilians suffering most, is not exceptional from the battles. A surge in violent activity by Allied Democratic Forces ADF has demonstrated the growing annoyance by this armed group operating both in Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo, with women and children being wounded in this war and young innocent girls raped, abducted at age of 14, 15 and 16 years, sexually abused, and the trauma can be vividly seen on their faces. The ADF rebels normally target young girls, mainly for sex. Major General Diko Lum's toughest assignment is to rescue all abducted women and children from the hands of the terrorists in the jungles of North Kivu.
With this joint operation that is manifesting in all these areas in the Eastern Congo, especially in Ituri and North Kivu, the population have started coming back to the roadsides. The population have started going back to where they had been chased by the ADF. The ADF has been put under a lot of pressure. They don't have anywhere to get food. We have followed them everywhere. The ADF have now started releasing some of the few children that they have been capturing. We have recovered a number of them. I think soon UBC should show them to Ugandans, these kids that we have rescued. And all these kids rescued look extremely malnourished.
The joint military operation is progressing well in areas of Mwalika Valley, Mambasa, Manzobe and Erengeti, where the joint forces are committed to defeat the ADF amidst critiques of Operation Suja. The ADF entered the Congo from Uganda after being defeated in Renzon Mountains between 1996 and 2000. Since then, they have been attacking villages, looting, and killing civilians in eastern DRC. The Operation Suja to succeed, General Diko Lum introduced seismic activities within Congolese liberated communities and had gathered a lot of information about ADF. This has led to the killing of many ADF commanders, many captured, ammunition recovered, children and women have been rescued. Currently, UPDF is enjoying the fruits of engaging Congolese civilians to end the ADF war in eastern DRC. Mutesa Sira Haruna, UBC News.
And in more news, the reconstruction of Saka Bridge connecting Kaliro and Palisa district is on course, with progress standing at 85%. This implies an end to the predicament that traders and road users have endured since 2019. The project engineer at Ugandan National Roads Authority, Mairez Tayewa, says that the project, valued at 7 billion Uganda shillings, is fully funded by government. Details in this report.
In October 2019, we found lamentations from the locals here over the bridge connecting Teso, Bukedi and Busoga sub-regions collapsing due to heavy rains. The situation at Saka Bridge of Kaliro and Palisa districts attracted the attention of government, including the Natural Resources Committee of Parliament.
So it's something very urgent that requires urgent attention. Four years later,
This is the result of the attention that government paid.
And UNRWA is in charge of the contract.
The process to reconstruct this bridge is bearing fruits.
The project is 4.5 kilometers, and we have a bridge which is 60 meters long, and it has 3 spans. Each span is 20 meters, and it has a clearance of 60 meters.
The contract was awarded to Arab contractors in July 2022 with a timeline of 30 months.
The project periods were 3 years, including the design, but the level we reach now is we passed about 85%. When we check the site now, we will find that what is remaining in some earthwork with the deck slab, casting concrete, and maybe the end of this year we can finish 100%. It means that we are ahead about 1.5 years.
This implies that the project completion and handover that was meant for January 2025 may be brought forward.
Just we start from the first day to do the mobilizations and to do the diversions for the waters. Then we succeed to be ahead 1.5 years. And we promise that maybe in January we can deliver this project 100%.
We are supposed to finish in January of 2025, but the contractor is ahead of schedule. If he keeps up the pace, he can even finish before that time.
Local government leaders are equally impressed with compliments from the director, Manifesto Implementation, Willis Bashasha.
I want to thank the UNRWA team for sourcing one of the best contractors, Arab contractors, who are doing a tremendous work here in Paisa and the other areas in Uganda.
The people of Busoga and the people of Paisa depend on one another, so that means crossing the river every now and then is a must.
Definitely this goes a long way in improving the interconnectivity of the Bukedi and Busoga sub-regions because of this facility.
Willis Bashasha has been on a mission to monitor Manifesto implementation progress in eastern Uganda. He sees an opportunity for resumption of normalcy.
This one being one of the presidential directives, it also adds to the intended objective of improving the connectivity within the country.
Saka Bridge collapsed in 2019, paralyzing movement, work and business between Kadiro and Parisa districts. Henry Okrut, UBC.
And in more UBC news tonight, Nebi Catholic Diocese requires at least 3.8 billion shillings to organize the 2024 National Martyrs' Day celebrations at Namugongo. The Episcopal Conference of Uganda selected Nebi Catholic Diocese to animate the celebrations for a second time in 16 years. In 2007, the diocese took charge of the Martyrs' Day celebrations for the first time, following its separation from the Arua Diocese. Details in this report with Susan Nawonga.
The Catholic Diocese of Nebi, which is under Gulu Ecclesiastical Province, was instituted on 23rd February of 1996 by Pope John Paul II under the patronage of Immaculate Heart of Mary. Under the stewardship of Bishop Right Reverend John Baptist Odama, the diocese was chosen to animate the third John Martyrs' Day celebrations in 2007 for the first time since its establishment. 16 years later, the diocese has again been selected by the Episcopal Conference of Uganda to animate the forthcoming 3rd June 2024 Martyrs' Day celebrations.
Because the last time the Catholic Diocese hosted Namugongo was in 2007, and it was a success.
The diocese requires a total budget of 3.8 billion shillings to aid in the preparations for the forthcoming Uganda Martyrs celebrations in Namugongo next year.
So in 2007, things had not gone very, very difficult like today. By that time, the whole budget was like 22 million to finish the whole function. And so, you know, now it is 16 years down the road. And, you know, as the country keeps growing, also the budget keeps growing up. The economy is not doing very well, so we still have we have a long way to go.
The funds in question will aid activities like the liturgy, communication and media, decoration, construction and sanitation, health, transport, protocol, among others. Catherine Akumu Mavenjina, the representative for the older persons from northern Uganda in Parliament, was selected to chair the organizing committee for the 2024 celebrations.
And the first thing that makes Namugongo a day and a success is the liturgy. The liturgy is the very, very important part of it, because without the liturgy there is nothing we can do there. So this liturgy involves a lot of things. It involves the choir training, the welfare of the choir, the welfare of our pilgrims, the welfare of our priests, our bishops, and also the international guests who come.
Catherine Akumu, who was appointed chairperson of the organizing committee, also participated in the 2007 celebrations when Nebi Diocese animated the Martyrs' Day celebrations for the first time. The diocese has already laid strategies for mobilization of funds by the central organizing committee, among which includes mobilization from different parishes, political leaders, well-wishers, cultural galas, and fundraising drives.
And so we want to start mobilizing money from amongst ourselves. We have held a meeting in every diocese, and so we charged every parish to contribute something.
Every parish under Glue Archdiocese has been tasked to raise at least 15 million shillings, while each individual member of parliament under the province also tasked to raise at least 5 million shillings.
Parliamentarians, we said each member of parliament who comes from Ganal Diocese must contribute at least a minimum of 5 million.
Right Reverend Raphael Monyi Wokrach is the current ordinary bishop of Nebi Catholic Diocese. The diocese falls under Gulu, Arua, Nebi and Lira Province, also known as Ganal Province. Susan Naonga reporting for ABC TV.
The Minister of Works and Transport, General Edward Katumba Wamala, has pledged the government's commitment to improve the road network and raise the standard of the traditional institutions. He was speaking at a meeting of former students of Busoga College, now known as Mwiri College. Details in this report.
Former students of Busoga College Mwiri have gathered at the school to discuss how they can improve its performance. The meeting was preceded by a dedication service led by the Bishop of Busoga Diocese, Samson in Yamane.
Together we go. I believe in God. Creator of heaven and earth.
Bishop Nyamane urged the parents to raise their children, especially boys who are not given much attention in the path of the Lord.
Vision was very, very important, and we were taught about God right out from our primary level till we finish studying. That made us to be different boys, to know what we are, to know what we are supposed to do as boys and even as we grow.
Mwiri College was very famous in the field of education in the 90s. It is against this backdrop that the Minister of Transport, General Edward Katumba Wamala, pledged the government's commitment to uplift traditional schools.
These traditional schools, government had a plan and it had been highly discussed and exhausted to come back to the old schools and help them, especially with infrastructure. The roads, we are going to finish the road network in the school. Let's be hopeful that the budget will improve, because we have a commitment to finish the road network here. We have a commitment to do the road network in Ibudo. We have a commitment to do the road network in Gayazi.
Mwiri College headmaster Arthur Mbalule called on the old boys to maintain the school's legacy.
It's a big name. We all know it. All people who have passed through here know it is a big name. And because it is a big name, that takes me to my remark number 2. That presents a big challenge. to everybody who is associated with it, because we have a duty to maintain that.
Katumba cautioned the former students to mentor the children and interest them in studying from Mweri to keep the school's legacy, which they agreed with.
As OBs, of course, you can see there's a lot of changes. OBs have come in, have renovated buildings. You have seen the dining hall is renovated. Our houses are being renovated by OBs. But also government, of course, abandoned this responsibility of maintaining this school because this was a government work.
General Katumba Wamala and the Abusa Banka officials planted trees at the school as part of Abusa's regreening environmental initiative. Abusa salesperson Helen Basuta Nangonzi explains about the tree planting program across the country.
We're here today as Abusa to support Mweri, working with both the teachers and the Old Students Association to be able to regrow the forest cover that had been lost. You realize that Mweri is on a hill, so most of the forest cover has been eroded away, either by water, the rains, but also the trees have also been eaten by termites. So I know Mweri is big. They have over 500 acres, but we've come in to be able to support. Today we are going to be planting 30,000 trees, and we don't plant any trees. We plant fruit trees in schools and indigenous trees.
The school celebrated its 112th anniversary, and the former Mweri headmasters were honored with certificates and accolades. Ivan Juko, Kenneth Tanaba for UBC.
Now, Simon Semuju, a resident of Ndeba, Lubaga Division, finds himself in a precarious situation and has made an earnest plea to the government for assistance and security for himself and his family. Now, his plea stems from his allegations against Yiga Francis, his former employee, who he claims attempted to end his life. The root cause of the dire conflict revolves around a land dispute dating back years in Ndeba, Lubaga Division. The land in question is titled in Simon Semuju's name, and he asserts that he narrowly escaped 3 separate attempts on his life. Details in this report.
A resident of Ndeba, only identified as Simon Semuju, is seeking for government's intervention in his ongoing feud with Yiga Francis over a piece of land.
Ku polisi embira ne kakanamuko ninga checho okunzita takijjanga we era akyachagala ettaka lyazibirako ekkubo liri wali kyengulu okuli akasomero azibe ekkubo asobole okunzitira kuba kwe entandikwa y'ekintu ekyo.
Semuju claims that Francis, once his employee, not only obstructed his access to his own land, but also made threats against him and his family. In response to these allegations, Yiga Francis contends that Semuju is a person he had nurtured from nothing, akin to a son. Semuju's predicament arose when, after years of land ownership, he sought to develop his property.
ayagala ekkubo liragewa anti kati tasasulangawo kikomera kubanga abantu sikikomera ng'ojjawo toilet zino ng'oyitawo ng'otuuka mu kifo kino mwali mu ddiiru oba mwalimu abantu kye bandigisa eddiiru okuba nti waliwo ekkubo eryali ligenda okuyitamu lye bayita Entebbe Express nga balisuubira okuba nti ligenda kuyita mu kitundu kya wano. Ab'amaddu amangi baatandika okikozesa ng'omukisa okugula amataka nti yino legenda okujja okusasula abantu nga balinawo obwaka. Siibangako n'olunaku n'olumu nga njagala okuwamba mutaawe kuba mutaawe yali mutabani wange wano ngaze mukozesa.
In pursuit of an agreement regarding access to his land, he approached Yiga Francis, who categorically refused to grant him passage, even after Semuju offered him 10 million. Subsequently, Semuju resorted to legal action, which culminated a courtroom victory against Yiga Francis. Semuju further alleges that Yiga Francis, in a shocking turn of events, sent 3 hired assassins to take his life. Fortunately, he survived these attempts, attributing to his survival to divine intervention.
kubanga abantu kinnomu batta abantu naye nga ne bawayiriza gavumenti muno yessa abantu n'ono omusajja yagala okunzita yagula ebibinja 3 ekibinja ekyasooka nekirya essente nekitakola n'agula ekyokubiri nga gamba kiri ekyasooka kiruddewo nakyo nekitakola n'agula ekyokusatu.
Various residents in the area have shared their perspectives on the ongoing conflict between Iga and Semuju, shedding light on the complexities of the situation.
Kubanga yakwata Simon nga iganga mazuka ka santuora agenda afe polisi nende n'ekima Simon nemutwala nemutusa ku CPS bamuka santi ayino okufa kubanga mbibinja byali yaguze mwana gwe bibinja ebikoregana ne government Musayiga yagula wano era bwe mmanyi nti ye mutuze wa wano era erandira odi waffe wano nga muzeyi nzize kuzimba kakalina akafaanagana n'akako muzeyi n'amukwatira ensawo za seminti
Simon Semuju has fervently called upon the government to extend its support, emphasizing that his life and well-being of his family hang in the balance due to the actions of Yiga Francis.
Kati awo enkubira omulanga wa gavumenti esobola okututaasa esobola tukuuma n'ebyaffe balina okubitwalira bwereere bamuzeeyi yatugamba tukole emekubba ate bitukola tebabitwala kati tukole ki.
Jamil Sekaja and Mukwaya Benon, UBC Tonight.
Now, Kalangala district comprises of 84 habitable islands, including the largest Bugala Island, which is home to numerous government infrastructure. Despite concerted efforts by government and private developers to establish educational facilities in the area, parents still grapple with the daunting task of providing their children's access to schooling. Details in this report.
Within Kalangala's 84 islands, there are approximately 25 primary schools and 3 secondary schools. Yet islanders continue to confront the challenges of ensuring their children have access to quality education. Some islands with existing schools are plagued by lack of students, with others remain devoid of educational institutions altogether. The head teachers of Chibanga Primary School, Wilberforce Namanya, and Bishop Dunstan Subuga Secondary School, led by Kathy Kabasoka, both of which are government-funded institutions, shed light on the myriad difficulties they encounter as administrators of these schools.
We still have limited participation of parents. There is no involvement of parents in supporting the learners' education, whereby some children come to school without scholastic materials. You can imagine a parent sending a child to school without a pen and a pencil. That one gives a really hard time to teachers to support that child learning. And not only that, parents give children limited time. They don't follow up. The child just comes to school by himself. You'll never see the parent at school. When it comes to school days like VD parents meeting, some parents don't come.
If only the government can help us more with the infrastructure development, and then the parents to help us with the guidance and counseling of the children, and the ministry to send for us teachers, I believe that many of these can be mitigated. Not only that, the capitation grant that is sent to schools is very little. It's so hard for us to sustain the learners. We end up having to charge fees in order to survive, which fees many of the children that are fending for themselves cannot afford.
During his visit to Kalangala, Right Reverend Wilberforce Chitio Luwalira, the Bishop of Namirembe Diocese, expressed his gratitude to the school's administrations, parent-teacher association members, and the district leadership for their firm support. He took a moment to offer dedication prayers for the candidates of Chibanga Primary School, seeking divine intervention for their primary leaving examinations and encouraging them not to be disheartened.
Ayagala nabo omusomesa we ne bw'oba okola ekintu kyonna ayagala kyaba akola n'olwekyo fuba okulaba ng'ekyo kyanaakoppa ku ggwe nga kyekikopeka. Leave exemplary lives. Seegimu ffe tugikola ki? Twagijjako n'olwekyo bannange sizze wano kubasabira naye okusaba wamu nammwe Katonda abalage nti buli kimu n'omu ku mmwe alina ebirowoozo birungi by'oyo akutegekedde birungi, but you have a part to play.
The event was graced by presence of the Archdeacon of Entebbe, Venerable John Jita, and the parish priest of Sese Parish, Reverend Godfrey Makonje, adding a spiritual ambience to the occasion.
The parish priest of Sembabule Parish, Reverend Father Ntabazi, John Paul, has offered valuable guidance to the candidates awaiting their UNEB examinations. His counsel emphasizes the importance of forming reading clubs, maintaining unwavering commitment, fostering comradeship, and steering clear of negative influences during their journey of school. Reverend Father Ntabazi, John Paul, led the vibrant mass at the Seta High School A-level campus, coinciding with the blessing of the school's candidates.
This year's candidates have received a special message urging them to uphold their faith as they prepare to embark on their final exams. The ceremony took place at Seta High School A-level campus in Mukono and was attended by parents as well as a diverse group of clergy members. Throughout the Mass, both candidates and teachers came together to offer generous donations, all while rejoicing in songs of praise that filled the atmosphere with spirituality and positivity.
You are in senior 4. Know that you are in senior 4, but there is a not yet. There is a not yet. You still have 2 weeks to go. So don't begin moving around in a sogarific way, saying that a campus is accomplished. No, there is a not yet. Amen. And some of us have tendencies to write our names everywhere. Never forget this and this year. Please, we shall never forget you when you spark up nicely.
The headmaster, Ramadan Nsonga, offered his assurance that the school had diligently nurtured the candidates to excel in their upcoming UNEB exams. His words of encouragement resonated with hope and promise for the students' future success. Parents were cautioned against allowing their children to become entangled in practices that deviate from religious norms.
We are here today to celebrate the achievements of our senior 4 students and senior 6 candidates. These are children who have moved far to reach this point, so I've used this occasion putting them into the hands of God as we near the examination period. As to our dear parents, I want to assure you that we have prepared our students well, we have nurtured them to be the best, and we expect the best from the results.
Kasiba Ante Fred and Nahoho Rashid Matselele, UBC TV.
Water, please. Can I pay with Momo? No. Ha. Hey, can I pay with Momo? Ha.
Here's our merchant code.
Oh, very good.
7 mega.
20. Can I pay with Momo?
Unfortunately, no.
Ha. Baby, let's go.
When paying with MTN Momo comes with more benefits for everyone, it just doesn't make sense not to have it.
Hello, I've come for rent.
Can I pay with Momo?
Yes, you can.
Pay or shop with MTN Momo and get cashback every week. It's free of charge. Use the Momo app or dial *165 *3#.
There's also another program, which is the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program, WEP, where we have dispersed the funds to the women groups, and of which recovery for the WEP program is around 52%. And of recent, the district was given more funds. The president actually was the one who officiated it during Women's Day on the 8th of March in Chirihura district, where we got an additional 132 million shillings to be given to the youth groups for good performance. But previously we had over 600 million shillings on top of that, and so far so good. That group is very organized actually for the women.
Uncle, you should see London.
Oh, my boy. This has been 5 years. You should see Uganda.
Yes. Uncle Marcus, huh? This is my former school.
See, soon there will be more than 1 million children learning like this for free.
This is impressive. Do you even have connection out here?
Well, we have 100% 4G countrywide.
Okay.
We even have 5G too.
That's approximately 700 billion Uganda shillings in tax, making Airtel one of the largest corporate income taxpayers over the last 5 years, helping build a better Uganda.
Today, your son saw our new Uganda.
Thank you, Uganda, for imagining it with us and making us the fastest growing telecom in the country over the past 5 years.
The Women Trade Fair for this year brings you the Black Friday earlier than ever before. Get ready to buy what you need at a 50% discount. Home appliances like fridges, cookers, TVs and so much more. Boda bodas, tukutukus, soap, detergent, cooking oil, sugar, rice and so much more. Don't miss to get what you've been longing for at a discounted price of up to 50% at the Women Trade Fair Black Friday from 3rd to 10th October. Proudly sponsored by Total Energy, Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat, Stanbic Bank, Uganda Breweries Limited, Tembo Seals, Uganda Bati, Simba Automotives, and Node Group. Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates back on ground. Sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. Now, in more news, the State Minister of Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, has urged the faithful to uphold cherished traditions. He emphasized the importance of daily prayer and the diligent reading of the Bible. And the act of giving is also a bedrock of a meaningful and spiritually enriched life. Details in the report.
The State for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, has reassured believers that no matter the trials and tribulations they might face, the answer resided within the Word of God. The minister confronted the pervasive issue of land being in the nation, a scourge that has plagued communities across the country.
First, allow me to take just 5 to 6 minutes.
Maximum 10.
The plunder which Ezekiel saw, which he asked, and have you come to plunder? In the year 1900, some of you call it 1900 agreement. The area of Uganda was estimated to be 1900 1,900, 400 square miles.
He implored those present to recognize the gravity of his problem and urged them to seek redemption and a path towards justice.
Number 2, a successful Christian reads his Bible every day. Number 3, giving. A successful Christian is a giver. Successful.
Pastor Baligonzachi Edward Mwesigwa, drawing from the book of Proverbs, extolled the virtues of divine wisdom and passionately conveyed that regardless of the person's stature, the wisdom bestowed by God could enable them to achieve the seemingly impossible.
The ministry where we are placed as ministers, the where we are as called ones of God, God does not give us impulses to astound, to ashame the so-called wise of this world. Meaning that even when you may pretend to be wise in your own right, in your own way, in a demonic way, but you're not wise in the name of the Lord. You're not wise under the constituency, configurations, arrangement, and plans of God. It's a wastage of time.
Pastor Bosa Dorothy Chitantazi, in heartfelt words, expressed the significance of Minister Mayanja's return to their spiritual home.
Because we want to recognize the strides he's taken in life and also serving in government, but also very important as we grow up and even now, God is very much part of our lives. And we know that without him, we cannot do anything. So welcoming him back is also important because we moved church from Rocco, from that side of Kawempe.
Jamil Sekaja, Mukwaya Benon, UBC.
Health institutions specializing in training of healthcare professionals and midwives have asked the government to alleviate the burden of taxes and the soaring costs of essential equipment. This appeal was made on the occasion of the first graduation and inauguration ceremony of the Wakiso Comprehensive Institute of Health Science and Midwifery, held at Choga, Uganda. The head of Miracle Center Cathedral Rubaga, Pastor Robert Kayanja, officiated the ceremony.
The lady pastor and founding preacher Miracle Center Cathedral Rubaga, Robert Kayanja, has inaugurated the Wakiso Comprehensive Institute of Health Science and Midwifery main building. A procession consisting of officials from the Uganda National Midwifery Examination Board, Wakiso Education Authority, the Institute's administration, and other esteemed guests gathered for the Institute's graduation ceremony.
Robert Kayanja.
During the ceremony, the academic registrar of the Institute read out the names of 130 out of the 150 graduates, a list that was later confirmed by the chief guest, Pastor Robert Kayanja.
Power entrusted in me as the guest of honor. To all those whose name has been read, I confer a certificate in nursing and midwifery of the Uganda Nurses and Midwives Examination Board. Congratulations.
Board members of the Institute seized the opportunity to advocate for a reduction in the taxes imposed on private education institutions, highlighting the need for financial relief in their operations.
To go through different challenges to ensure that a nurse that is able to come from here, so we want to really appeal that you can pass on this information to the relevant authorities.
Pastor Kayanja pledged to convey this message to the relevant authorities, amplifying the voices of the Institute's board members.
They have raised the issue of high taxes on apparatuses that they are using to teach the students, which is not made in Uganda, and we don't have them in Uganda, and yet the nations all around us, in Europe, in America, in Canada, Asia, they are looking for nurses. In Australia, they're looking for nurses and doctors. So my request will be that the government reconsider either lowering at 0% taxes on these apparatuses that they need to use to train, because we can't train our young people with our own tradition.
The founders of the institute, Professor Gonzaga Waiso and his wife, expressed their gratitude towards the parents who entrusted them with their children's education.
Putting money the parents, you have not made a mistake. To our graduates, I offer you my heartfelt congratulations. You have shown exceptional determination, resilience, and perseverance.
The Deputy Health Officer of Wakiso District, Betty Nabuganda, and officials from UNIMEB commended the founders of the institution for their invaluable contributions to the health sector.
Assistant DHO, when we have a facility like this one, Wakiso School of Comprehensive Nursing and Midwifery, it adds to the human resource that we are building for health. And when we have a very good school like this one that trains nurses and midwives well, we are very confident that the nurses and midwives who are coming out will be qualified.
We wish to acknowledge the work by the Governing Council. You have steered the institution in the right direction.
Sponsorship mu private institutions kubanga tukizudde ebizibu bingi nti bannaffe abamu be twatandika nabo tebasobodde kumaliriza. Kati nga tusaba singa ekintu ekyo kiteekebwa mu nkola ne bayongezaako abaana nga babayambako.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC News.
Now, in the world of sports, Sacred Heart Mushanga alumni embarked on a highly anticipated journey marked by the commencement of its league at the Police Children's School in Chibuli, Kampala. This league is not merely a sporting event, it is a concerted effort to culminate unity, nurture connections, and drive meaningful initiatives that contribute positively to the community. Through this endeavor, the alumni aim to uphold the values instilled during the formative years at school, creating a profound sense of belonging.
Mushanga League stands as a non-profit organization characterized by its dynamism and visionary spirit, serving as a unifying force for the alumni of Sacred Heart SS Mushanga. The chairperson of the Mushanga League, Alex Bijirwa, says the initiative is not just about sports. It's about rekindling connections, fostering unity, and promoting physical wellness.
Mushanga started in 1987, so all the representatives of the students you are seeing around, every year is composed of a cohort that brings together the entire Mushanga League, and that's who we are. We are here to promote sport, we are here to promote togetherness, we are here to harmonize and look in the bigger picture of who Mushanga should be. We are here to promote the legacy of what Mushanga Sacred Heart has made us to be.
The League's public relations officer, Patricia Akampuela, believes that through these efforts, the enduring legacy of their institution, Sacred Heart Mushanga, can be preserved and revitalized. Participants in this grand opening of the Mushanga League's inaugural season express their optimism, believing that the seeds sown will bear the fruits of unity, comradeship, and community impact in the years to come.
We started Mushanga League to rekindle our relationships with our fellow friends that we are with in school, to make these connections, to also foster unity, but for one thing, to continue the legacy of Mushanga for all the Mushanga alumni and for the students that will join us in future. We hope that this league will help us to continue that legacy, but also to promote wellness among students with the physical exercise that they will be doing around. We are hoping for the best, as this was our grand opening. We know that the future is promising and we are very hopeful.
Mushanga League represents not just a sports league, but a platform for alumni to come together, reconnect, and collectively contribute to the betterment of their community. all while honoring the values instilled in them by their beloved Sacred Heart Mushanga.
Today it was a grand opening. It was really fantastic. It came out really as we had planned for it. It was really interesting, though we had some rain that disturbed us a bit. But we hope for the best. Mushanga League, oye! Awatem, oye!
Today marks exactly 3 months and 5 days when OBs and OGs of Sacred Heart Mushanga organized a curtain raiser at Panamera Beach in Kampala. Today we witness the grand opening of Mushanga League Season 1. Uganda is one of the countries to host the AFCON competitions in 2027. We believe the Mushanga League will have mentored a talent to represent Pearl of Africa in those competitions. Ivan Tukundane, UBC Sports.
For that comprehensive piece, and that brings us to the end of our 10 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, Mugalu Muhammad on sign language, and have yourselves a lovely month and a lovely week at that.
UBC